Hello, my name is Cameron, and today we will be discussing my personal developing educational philosophy. I believe that a classroom should provide an equitable and safe environment, where students are allowed to make mistakes and learn from them in order to improve themselves as they develop during their time at school. In order for this development to take place, it is important for teachers to provide a well thought out and properly executed lesson plan using the correct tools available to them. To me, this relates very strongly to the basic principles of woodworking, where designs are thought of and sketched based on requirements, then refined with proper measurements, and are then carefully measured out onto a work surface. This is similar to how a teacher creates a lesson plan based on curriculum and then refines it before presenting it in the classroom. When it comes to the actual lesson, it is important for the teacher to use the correct tools provided so that they can accommodate for students of different backgrounds, cultures, religions, ethnicities, and more. This is similar to how a woodworker will use the full extent of their workshop in order to accommodate for differences in cuts, woods, and flaws within the woods in order to create the best possible product. While it may be faster and seemingly easier to ignore parts of these methods, the results provided will hinder the end results and creates a series of misunderstandings in students, or a bad joint in a woodworking project, creating a deficit result in the overall product. The next stage of woodworking is sanding the project in order to clean up any mistakes, extra markings, or rough surfaces. I equate this to helping students do things such as breaking bad habits, removing any preconceived stereotypes, and easing their doubts and fears. This follows the idea of learning, unlearning, and relearning a concept in order to fully understand it, bringing us to the last step of the process. In woodworking, this step is known as finishing, applying a coat of stain, lacquer, oils, or paint in order to preserve the work over time. In education, this is the relearning phase, where having broken bad habits, students develop new, good habits to replace them, put aside their prejudices, and lessen their doubts. By going through this process with all students and tailoring the steps to accommodate our diverse body of students, we are able to effectively educate students and prepare them for the world outside of school. This philosophy is influenced by the ideas of John Dewey, known as the modern father of experiential education, who stated, "Failure is instructive. The person who really thinks learns quite as much from his failures as from his successes," which shows that being able to fail and learn from those failures can be just as educational as learning theory from a textbook. This hands-on experience is reflected in woodworking, where knowing all different joints and tools but lacking the experience to use them correctly is just as effective as if you have experience with basic tools but no idea of how to create an advanced joint. When speaking of equity and collaboration in the classroom, I feel it is important to remember the difference between equity and equality. While equality means everyone is treated fairly, equity means everyone is provided with the help they need to achieve the same position. This means that students with mental disabilities may be provided with further attention, similar to how a bent plank may require readjustment before it can be used to its fullest potential. Collaboration is the students working together to further their own education and achieve their goals, much like how using multiple clamps when gluing a project together creates a stronger bond. It is also important for a teacher to show humility when necessary in the classroom. Since Confucius defines wisdom as, when you know a thing, to recognize that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to recognize that you do not know it. Failure to do so may result in further embarrassment or confusion and distrust amongst the student body. This distrust can prevent students from learning in the future and so should be avoided. To show the effectiveness of this ever-changing philosophy, I will now show you the correct and incorrect processes in action within a woodworking context and show the results of each. You'll notice that the improper way is faster overall but creates a deficit product, just as it would in a teaching environment. This is a philosophical proof that teaching students requires care, planning, and experience in order to create the best life for our students. It is important to take note as well that this philosophy is ever-changing, just like how any product a woodworker produces can always be improved, adjusted, or enhanced. So can this philosophy.